So let me.
Okay, so good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining our PD. I am so happy that it's so popular. So thank you, Archana, for doing this for all of us and for agreeing to hold our first PD for the year. So thank you for doing that. I am just going to present Archana a little bit. So this year, Archana is also part of the ELA board members, and she's also a software engineer by profession. She has earned her master's degree in computer science from India, and she's working with Alberta Health as a project lead. In addition, she's also privileged to work with students and teachers in a variety of kindergarten and university settings in Canada, US, and India. She has great passion for teaching, and she has almost 20 years of teaching experience as part-time instructor. She has worked as a classroom teacher, instructor at University CI. Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong.
Course instructor, CI.
Thank you so much. And she is also a teacher of heritage language schools at Alberta Hindi Parishad. One of her favorite successes as a teacher is taking something many consider boring and making it relevant and engaging for students. Today's session is going to follow on how to, we'll cover, topics like how to engage children in their heritage language, increase heritage language awareness and confidence, focus on heritage learning principles, and how teachers and students together can manage their learning effectively. So thank you again, Archana, for doing this for us today and holding our PD. The floor is yours.
Thank you for having me, Marina. Marina, I'm not able to share my screen. Maybe I logged off and logged back in. It says disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay, just give me a second.
Hi, Jitka. I can see you waving.
Hello, Archana. Have you started yet? Sorry.
No. Yeah, we just had a welcome round. You want to introduce yourself? From which school? We just had that session.
Oh, okay, good. So if I should introduce myself, my name is Jitka Staroschak, and I'm a teacher and a principal at Czech school. And I'm teaching kids, from the age of preschool kids and age 8 to 11.
Sure. Thank you. Okay. I'm still not able to share screen. Let me see. Yeah, there you go. Share. Let me know if you can see my screen. Okay, so today's topic for my presentation is engaging children, the kids, in their heritage language. So the objective of this presentation is to give support to the heritage language teachers like we, who are instrumental in shaping the future of our kids, right? So positive and effective relationship, which we can build between teachers and students, we know that is the foundation upon which good teaching and learning occurs, right? The basic motto which I follow is like, if you can't teach, you can't teach them if you can't reach them. So this is all our presentation is about. We have to connect with the kids. We have to reach to them in order to be able to teach them. And this is very important when we are doing the heritage language. Let me quickly. So we'll start with this land acknowledgement. So Edmonton is located within Treaty 6 territory within the Métis homelands and Métis nations of Alberta Region 4. We at the International and Heritage Language Association acknowledge this land as traditional territories of many First Nations. So the agenda of this presentation will be first welcome thing, which we already had. We all got a chance to introduce ourselves, and it was nice to know like different languages we speak from different parts of country we have joined. So thank you so much for doing that. So today we'll focus on what is heritage language, though we all know what it is. We'll just briefly cover that. Who is a heritage language learner? This is important because they are our target audience, the heritage language learner. Then 5 guiding principles that we should follow to connect with kids, to engage them in the learning of their heritage language. Then we'll take a break, a stretch break, depending on how we are doing. It can be 5 minutes or whatever. We'll see how good we are doing with the time. Then we'll have a share and learn session where everyone gets an opportunity to share their experience, and together we'll learn and grow, because this is how we grow as a teacher, by learning from others. Then we'll have tips and techniques to engage kids, and then I'll welcome any feedbacks and comments you have for our presentation today. Any questions? Okay, thank you. So next is, what is heritage language? Anyone? What is heritage language? Okay, so heritage language, as we say, when we say heritage language, there are so many languages, right? So the term which comes to our mind is the language which is not dominant language, right? Like in Canada, English is the most dominant language. So does any language other than the English can be considered as a heritage language for us, especially for the speakers of that language, right? Some people may be able to speak, read, or write their language. Some may only be... Okay. Meena, hi.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Can we say it's a minority language for the heritage language?
Like Hindi is also a heritage language. Marathi, right?
Yeah, it's a minority, right? It's not a majority, right? That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's a minority language, right? Like in Canada, English is the dominant majority, right? But in India, though English is picking up, but still we have Hindi as a mother language, right? So depending on which country we are, the other language can be considered as a heritage language. And when we say heritage language, we know, like some kids, they may be able to speak, write, even read it. And some may just be able to only speak and understand a little bit, right? So some may not even understand the language, but what do you say, as a part of a family or community where they are growing, they are learning it, they are getting it from their family. So the term heritage language can be described as connections between non-dominant language, which you are saying the minority language, and a person or family or community where we get this language from, right? So you're right, Meena, this is a minority language which speakers learn at home, right, as children. But for these kids, they learn this, but it's difficult for them to be fully developed because of insufficient input they get from the family or other social environment, right? So heritage language can be also referred to as a person's family or community that the person does not speak or understand, right, but identifies it culturally. So this is what is heritage language. And we, as a heritage language teacher, are here to promote these language and to keep kids connected. Because the biggest challenge we have as a teacher is, like, we hardly see kids like once or few times a week, right? And just for a few hours. To keep kids engaged in those few hours, that's the main objective. So once we understand what is heritage language, then the second thing is who the learners are, right? Who is our target audience? So who is a target audience? Who's the heritage language learner? What do you think? Anyone? You can raise your hand. I'll get the pop-up.
Or you can unmute, or you can also type in the chat. That's okay too.
Our student.
Okay, your student. Your student can be you have to be more specific. Who is your student?
Heritage language students.
Yeah, heritage. Yeah. So heritage language students are they are the heritage language learners. So when we say students, these are those students, those who have been exposed to a particular language, right, in childhood, but did not learn it to its full capacity because another language became dominant. Like in Canada, when the kids, they are 5 or 6 years old and they were born, brought up here. So if they are when they are till 5, 6, they are very good with their heritage language because they have very limited exposure to the English language, which slowly becomes dominant and they start using their language. So now, when the kids come to our school at the age of 5 or 6, this is the challenge we are having as a teacher. We have to engage them, right? They have this, when they were born, they got this heritage language, but now, since everybody outside is speaking English, their exposure to English becomes dominant, and slowly this heritage language keeps going down. So this is what we have to do. We have to engage the kids, motivate them, encourage them to continue learning this heritage language. So even the kids, like who have been raised with cultural connection to a particular language through a family interaction, right? Like kids, they are born here, they are raised here, they talk to their families, their grandparents in their native country, and they try to connect with them. They have the exposure of heritage language, but still they are not fully developed. Now, as a heritage language teacher, we have to think, what can we do? How do you think we can continue with the heritage language exposure?
We have a few comments in the chat, Archana.
Okay.
With regards to your question, like who is a heritage language? So we have people have said things like students, many who are born in Canada, our generations. And also we have a comment that says heritage language learners are usually children of immigrants, kids that were born in a family whose first language is not English.
Yeah, agreed, totally agreed. So they are mainly immigrants, right? Now, think like as a teacher, how do you think we can continue with this heritage language exposures? Like, what can we do to provide opportunities for students so that they can communicate with their family? Because that is very important to bridge the gap between generations, right?
So
In both language and culture.
People are saying speak our language at home, role modeling, share the culture, expose them to materials with our language, like songs, movies, books.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, no, very nice. So this session is all about this. We'll cover techniques that are easy to integrate into your interaction with students, like communicating positive expectation, giving feedback in a constructive way. So, and developing pride when they're speaking the heritage language, we have to keep encouraging them. So, and we have to demonstrate caring attitudes, like a safe environment for all the kids to grow and thrive in. So this session will focus on this only. Let's move on. This 5 guiding principles. So these are the guiding principles which I generally follow for to engage the kids. First one is be authentic and trustworthy. Second, be brief and use visuals. Be about your kids. Kids, they are the target audience for us. Be consistent and simple. Be organized. So a heritage language program do not slowly teach language. They put a high value on identity and culture, right? For many students, this serves as to bridge the gap between generation as they come to realize how their parents or grandparents' lives were from their own, and they make an effort to learn about these differences. So this is a very key outcome for parents. They want their children to have a real understanding and focus on their family life and history. So we'll follow these strategies. We try to develop strong and powerful relationship with our students. We'll move to a next slide. Well, we'll unpack these principles. So first one is be authentic and trustworthy. What do you think when we say we have to be trustworthy, we have to be authentic as a heritage language teacher? Do you agree, like being trustworthy is important for a heritage language teacher?
I guess yes, because if you don't trust each other, there is no connection, there is no interest, right? So as long as they trust you and you, whatever they speak, even they speak wrong, you take it positively and reflect positively. I think that's the most important part.
No, very well said. I totally agree with that. This, if again, we can't teach them if we can't reach them, right? So trust, if we earn kids' trust, that is very important. So we have to forge a deeper connection with the kids by being truthful, believable, meaningful, and trustworthy. So teachers who forge positive relationship with their students and they create a classroom atmosphere that encourages learning and better meets the students' development, whether it's emotional, mental. We have to look at everything, right? As a teacher, not just the academic thing. We have to look at the emotional development, mental development. So providing positive reinforcement and celebrating your students' unique qualities help build this trust relationship, right? Truth is more than evidence, but it's also credibility, right? Transparency. It's truth. When we say truth, it is linked to understanding. Like we have to be knowledgeable because kids are looking at us. If they ask any question, we should have enough knowledge about our subject so that we can answer them, right? If we just give them, the kids today's world, they are very smart. Like they will find us like, oh, she doesn't know anything, so we'll lose their trust. So we have to be knowledgeable about a subject. Then the second thing I would say, we have to be approachable. If the kids will trust us, they can easily approach us. We have to develop an environment of trust, right? By reducing this professional distance between a student and a teacher. If we keep the gap open, they will never approach us. We'll never reach them.
There's a few comments as well, Archana. Yeah, so there's people actually who are saying that reflection is important, showing care and demonstrating that you want to be there in the classroom and want to teach them and help them. Also should be knowledgeable about the language and the culture and its values.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have to be knowledgeable, approachable, passionate. Passionate is another thing. Like we have to inspire the students through their love. We have to make them learn. So they can begin by demonstrating genuine focus on students' learning and not only on meeting material content, right? This is our syllabus. We have to finish this. No, this will not work. So we have to be passionate about teaching and how we reach out to them. Suppose like if we have to teach numbers to the kids, there are various ways. If we'll continue 1, 2, 3, 4 in our heritage language, our topic was to teach numbers to them. Numbers 1 to 10. We taught it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and asked them to keep repeating. But do you think it will get into their minds? Or if you'll do it in some different way, they will feel, they will have more curiosity to learn, more eagerness to learn. Like what I do generally when I have to teach numbers, I'm just sharing one of my example. I use Ravana. I don't know how many of you know, like Ravana, he's from Hindu mythological. He has 10 heads. So Ravana has been described as having 10 heads and 20 arms. So when I have to teach them, I tell them, okay, I draw 10 heads. One, like in my language, in my heritage language, 1, 2. So they are now making connection. They are now getting some other details as well. Who is Ravana? So first, my focus will be to teach them counting, show them the Ravana head, and they are getting that image also, right? And they're understanding, oh, he has 10 heads, because that is something unique, right? No one has it. So this way we make the connections and we earn their trust. So yeah, there will be different ways everyone would be doing to engage kids, but this is what earn their trust. Let's move to the next slide. Be brief and use visuals. We all know this, visuals and brief, because people don't usually need to know everything we know, right? If we give them too much information, will they get everything? No. So we have to the more we have to explain, the less our message resonate with people. So give them what they need to know. We have wealth of knowledge, but we cannot give everything to them. We have to be brief and look at age appropriate, and we have to give them those things. Now, use visuals. We all know visuals is like, oh my God, they add meanings. They can show what words can't. Visual works fast. Everyone will agree. Like if they read a book and if they have to look at a visual of movie about the same book, we all know they will catch more from the movies. Visuals will not be just movie. It can be a photograph, illustrations, other things, right? And this brings your content to life. So use images that enforce the concept that you're trying to explain. Kids get, like, you will agree, right? Is there any way, like, do you guys agree, like using visuals will help kids connect more? They will be more engaged, or how you do it?
I
Yes,
just want to say, yeah, sorry, I go ahead. You just said you teach them like with Ravana with 10 heads. So in that content, if you saw the picture of Ravan, it will never ever go away from their mind, and they will
Yeah.
learn culture and the number at the same time. That's the perfect idea and perfect example.
Thank you, Meena. Yeah, no, I'm sure everyone will be doing something else. So this is what this PD session is: share, learn, and let's grow, right? I'm just sharing what I feel is good, and kids get that. I know when they hear Ravana, next time they keep coming to me. Like, Mrs. A, we know these are 10 heads. Oh, and they know the counting also. So I thought, why not share with you guys? So remember, illustrations can last longer with people and will reinforce your message. It goes into their head. We all know that video keeps kids engaged, right? Even sharing the real life stories, they get it more rather than just teaching them by the content. That is what I mean by being brief and using the visuals. Any questions? Okay. Next, this is very important.
We had a few comments. I tried to keep an eye on the chat as well. Yeah, so we had a few people actually commenting to visuals. The information needs to be simplified, and using drawings, visual really helps with their understanding from Crisanthe. Very nice. It should be attractive and interesting, Gary said. Yes, 100% Crisanthe was agreeing with you that they're super important. And Famela goes on to say that research has found that 65% of the general population are visual learners. And also Sabrina says that visual helps connect with words with actual understanding.
Yeah, thank you. No, thanks for sharing those, really. I'm glad to know 65%, and I'm one of them. Because for me, when I look, I'm a visual person. When I look at, even if I have to look at numbers, if I look in the form of a graph, it goes more into my mind rather than looking at the numbers. So yeah, thank you. Let's move on. The next principle, which is be about your kids. We need to know, what do they need? What do they know? What will they do with our information which we are sharing? How we should deliver those informations? Remember, again, I'll say, when we fail to communicate with our audience, you will fail to reach your audience. By audience, I mean our students, our kids, right? If we are not communicating well with them, we'll never reach them. So our job is to give them correct and age-appropriate information and think about what they need. Am I giving them some extra info? Like for level 1, right? We will have different level of kids. So it has to be age appropriate. The beginners will need little less, but more fancy information rather than different level of students, right? So we have to think about their age and give them what they need. What do they know? So we have to even understand like their perspective. So we have to give them context, translate, and educate them. So when yes, Meena? Sorry. Okay, so many teachers, like what they do is like they teach for themselves, and then we start blaming, oh, our kids does not understand what being said. So we as a heritage language teacher jump in here, and this is our job to translate and what you know into the language of your audience. We have to bridge this gap. Storytelling, again, storytelling is very powerful tool in education. So use that and determine what they need and what do they know, because this is about our audience. If they lose interest, then done. So we have to sometimes look at our content as well. Sometimes we have a syllabus that we have to teach this, but change your content, not your template, just the content. The way we talk, the words, the way we talk to them, words set the tone, right? Our tone matters. And so please be rational with that. Avoid the negative thing, avoid negative language, be positive, and inspire optimism. So give reason why, how problems can be solved, right? And what they need and what exactly we are. I'm not asking you to look through rose-colored glasses, but try not to use negative words and always encourage kids. I know it's hard, but yeah, avoid giving negative feedback, that I would say. So we have to reach to our kids. Then only we can teach them. Next slide. Okay, it's about being consistent and simple. Do you think like if we be simple, it will be effective? Or if we use tough thing, will it be more effective and our audience will get more? What do you think?
Yes, simple and soft. We have to be very simple and soft language we have to use.
Yeah, absolutely. Like no one in history has ever said that it's too simple to understand, right? If it is too simple, it's okay. It's okay. We don't have to show off, right? We don't have to use jargon or big words, fancy words. It has to be simple because our kids, we have to understand they are heritage language learner. So if we start using fancy words and jargon, it will not work with them. We have to look for simplicity. Like if I say like low hanging fruits, no, for a heritage language learner, I would say we have to make them easy for them to easily understand. We have to, instead of saying low hanging fruits, we can say, look for the target for easy things that can be easily done first, rather than using those proverbs and making kids like, oh, this is, no, avoid using jargons. Being consistent. So consistency and cohesion build your voice. When we deliver some information, um, try to be consistent and repeat it over and over again. Like if I have to teach introduce words like thank you, there may be multiple ways of saying thank you in your language. But if we'll be consistent and repeat the same word again and again, then it will go into the kid's brain faster. So I would say talk about same thing in the same way. So being consistent and simple will communicate our ideas to the kids. Any comments? Do you think agree with this? Like being consistency, does it help in a class? Okay, I'll take silence as yes. Yeah, like if we are consistent, we are simple, kids will get more and they will be more engaged. Last principle which I used is being organized. What do you think by saying being organized? What can we do as a teacher? Like if we are organized, how can we engage the kids? Yes, Gauri?
Yes, being organized means if teacher has her lesson plan ready, what exactly she wants to teach in the given time, so she can use the time wisely. Even she can engage the children. Also, children will not get bored or they will not feel that what means if teacher is thinking in that way. So being organized is a very good quality of a teacher, and it has to be there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The word which you use, optimizing time, because as I said, as a heritage language teacher, we just get to see our kids once a week, just for a few hours. And if we are not using that time effectively, then we'll not be able to engage our kids. There's a saying like a good cook in the kitchen can wipe up any menu within minutes and present a decent meal when the kitchen is stocked. and everything is in its place. Similarly, a good teacher, we can do miracles if our classroom is well organized, right? Time optimization, focus on we as a teacher, like all of us know, we don't walk into the classroom just like this with the syllabus. We do some preparation, planning, even at home, right? Before entering the class. So well-organized teacher plans ahead, not just in the classroom, but even at home. Yes, Meena?
I would like to say, as a teacher, when you go to the classroom, you get organized by your material, your time, your strategy, how to teach them, and your, of course, the goal or objectives of that lesson plan. Yes. So
No, agree, totally agree. Like, and even like, right, human mind, we can do only few things at a time. And the order in which the information comes in effect, how the information is handled is important. So even if we are being organized, we have to start with the most important things first. When we suppose we have to teach about numbers, so we have to first tell them about the numbers. That is because that is the first thing the kids will get in their brain and they will start processing it. Then we have to fine tune and add details, like supporting details to it, so that it becomes more relevant and more engaging. So a successful experience in school is not only about getting good grades. We should focus if a child is understanding how to learn, how to retain those information, if he's able to think independently, ask questions. So it will be a little challenging for us, for a heritage language teacher, but if we are organized, we are making optimum use of time, then definitely our kids will be engaged. So yeah, it can be a little difficult to know, like, any questions about these principles? Like, first, let's do that. Or anyone wants to add to it?
We also, have a few chats, few comments in the chats. My gosh. So, Leela is saying that we have to explain in simple language, but if they don't understand, we translate it in English so they can learn easier.
Yeah.
Also identify briefly and clearly the learning goals and present the lesson in most more interactive way. If we give projects, present to them the rubrics and how to get exemplary marks. Okay, so yeah. So basically how to go through the objectives and how to achieve those goals.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree with Lilia. Gauri?
Like I would like to add into it, when I teach Marathi to the students, so to just make them know the new words, vocabulary. So I introduce in cooking way, like I teach them fireless cooking, and so that through it I teach them new words so that they know it and they use it in their conversation. So I do like that. Same way other teachers, they introduce craft. A few teachers, they make puppets with them, and so that they use all the new words and vocabulary. So I would like to add in that way. Thank you.
No, definitely. I too do sometimes, like when I'm teaching them vegetables, like to the young kids, I go to the actual curry which we make. Or if I'm teaching them some words like ginger, and I'll teach them how to make tea. So then in those, what are the ingredients? So they will come to know, oh, water. What is water called in our heritage language? If we are making a ginger tea, ginger. Okay. So these ingredients also, I make them learn in Hindi, like whatever heritage language I'm teaching, like, and then they get it. Oh, now this is how we make the tea. What is this called in your language? So, and like vegetables. So yeah, I'll make them like, oh, I like, some kids will say, I like aloo palak. So aloo palak is like potato and spinach. So this way they relate to it. Oh, now you learn two words, aloo and palak, right? So Gauri, is that what you are trying to say? The same
Yes.
thing?
Yes, and for that we need to be organized, because if we are
Mhm.
planning something, so all the things should be in our hands so that we can utilize the time and our objective will be cleared.
Yeah, you're right, because we are just getting few hours, right? 1 or 2. I don't know how long is your class, but like
Yes,
for us,
1
we
hour.
get 2 hours
Yeah.
just once a week. Like, so
Mm.
it's little, yeah, we have to be organized and make the most use of that time. to keep them engaged.
Exactly.
Mhm. Anyone else?
Yeah, I would like to say also that it's important to let them speak, express themselves, ask them the questions, right? That's so they are really engaged and they can use what they have just learned, right? Or what we learned in the past lessons. So that's what I tried the most. Or also I try to use more adjectives than I use like nouns. So they even they learn something new, right? So I try to describe in different way, so they can also learn new vocabulary, or learn. They might know the word, but they never use it, right? So I want them to use the word.
Yeah. No, thank you, Jitka, for that. I would say actually you are using the principle without knowing it, right? That this is one of the principles that we have to be about our kids, be about your audience, right? Earn their trust. Then only they will approach us. They will ask questions, right? They will have no fear. They will ask question to us. So yeah, we are actually using those principles in our class. Yes, Pravatika? Did I pronounce it
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, you did. Thank you.
Okay.
For me, rather than expecting them to follow me, I like to follow them. I like to follow their interest, and I base my teachings around their interest. I follow them. I think that that's very effective too.
Yes, be about your kids. That was one of our principles, right? What do they need, right? What do they know? So once you know what they know, you just go with the flow, right? What they are asking from us, and like, yeah, it's better.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's good. Like if we give responsibility to us kids to run the show, we we are encouraging them, and they will reach out to us more, and it will build a connection between us, right? They will
Exactly.
easily connect with us.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing, Pravatika. Anyone else? Okay, so let's move. See, it can be, we know about these 5 principles, but when we say like every one of us are using these principles, be about our kids. We try to connect with our kids. We consistent. We always try to be organized. So it can be difficult to know which principle will really promote learning. But we have to understand that our young children, they are naturally driven to learn and explore, right? They are at the beginning of their life, and they have the quest to learn. And they have so much to learn. And if we are able to understand them, we can help them get mastery of this world around them, right? This heritage language. So we have to connect with the kids, and we have to think as a heritage teacher, right? Do you want our kids to lose interest in heritage language? No, right? None of us want. So if you would instead like your kids to remain curious and have that hunger for mastery, then if we follow these principles, then definitely it will keep our kids more engaged, and our class will be like kids will be really willing to come to the heritage language. It's not that they're getting pushed from the parents, go attend it. No, they will really enjoy and they will love to come to the class. Okay, next was we were looking time for a break. Do you guys need a 5-minute stretch break? Or shall we continue?
Oh, continue.
Continue.
Yeah, I would like to continue and finish it off. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's move on. Thank you. So next is our assignment where it's a share, learn, and grow. So this is the motive of a presentation, is that we share with each other so that we learn from others and we can grow as a teacher. So in this, Marina will be helping us, will be putting us in a breakout room. She will be showing how to do that. And the assignment will be like each group will have to come up with 3 important techniques that we as a heritage language teacher will use to engage our class. And yeah, so
We have 3 ideas. Like one is art, exposed to culture, song, dance, traditional crafts. It's a little bit tricky. I mean, it's arts, right? Because it's huge topic and we can actually add multiple things in it. The another is bin with themed heritage materials, like whatever feast and festival is coming, we can actually add those things to recognize for them and talk about it. And they also can talk about while they are playing. And it's really good for the early age children who are just exploring the words and trying to make sentence out of it and make sense of the materials relatively to the festivals and cultural that we can also as a parent also we can like bring up things in our family. So the another is like for visual learners, especially when it's visual learners student, it's very helpful if with all kinds of diverse, you know what I mean, diverse learners. Visual learning will be very helpful for them, and we can play our based games such as missing letters, words, and even like match the pictures, match the words together, and it's more like it's variety of the materials. However, we're putting it under the visual learning materials, so it can really go wide if we bring in practice. So yeah, that's what we talked about it.
yeah, no, great. So we had like visuals, we had like for festivals. How do you like link it? Like what material do you get for to engage kids during the festival time? Like what do you do?
We have also, it's just for example, we have this festival comes Dasera, where
Yeah.
we do the rice, red colors, and sometimes we add a little bit yogurt to just make it stick in our forehead. And it's usually after all worship, we use this as a prasad and we put in our forehead as blessings. And then those, what we call, I have no idea, we call it jamara. If somebody knows, they can help me. We grow this with wheat thing. I have no idea what we call it.
Jamara is the wheat germ. Wheat germ.
Wheat germ, and we can
Okay.
actually do the processing of all this plantation and grow it and watch them grow it, and later we can also play with it. And same time we bring like what's the process of having it, like it's a 10 days process of germination and everything. And the last day is the Dasera, where we like taking prasad from the as a blessings from the god, from the elders of the families, and we go here and there. So it's just like connecting the materials to what we actually do. And it's not just that, like there are other things we can bring, like learning words, like such as water bin, like let's put that something in the water that sinks and floats and say that in our language, like how do you say sinking and floating in our language. So it's those kind of ideas.
Yeah. In this way, we introduce them to our cultures, right? And the traditions, and you giving them the values also, like having those things germinate and the process. So yeah,
for me, first is like the learning the basic language instead of learning culture. Culture is practiced, right? So if we know the words and then in the culture is celebrated, and then that's how it's very relative for them to learn. Otherwise, we are just teaching them culture and like it doesn't make sense. That's what they say. But it doesn't make sense, mommy. So I'm trying to bring connection to them to do, and I let them do those all spreading bread on the very first day of Dasera themselves. So they every day they water a little bit and watch the thing grow. And at the 10th day, it's very exciting for them to explore even at home. So that's what I think. It's very like interesting way one of them is like called sensory exploration.
And what was your third technique? Sorry. One was visual festivals, and what was the first one you said?
The second, the art.
Art. Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
it is huge. So it's like we have music. I teach dance in our Gurukul Patsala. So when I teach dance, I try to make sense those words in English, and they sometimes they find it funny, and but that way they remember the words, and then they can sing, practice, and then when they do the action, they are actually learning the words too, and so it's all like huge thing for them to learn along with the music, and then art, and then even like literature is also one of the art. And when we actually, the other teacher when actually put things in the words for them to practice, writing, verbal, all things, I think that's all comes in the art for me.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you, Karuna. Thank you for sharing your idea. Sorry, I totally forgot about Josephine. You wanted to share some update, right? Should we pause and hear from Joseph?
No, go ahead. Let them finish, and then maybe I'll just give the last part. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Sorry about that. I completely forgot.
It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. From
May I add?
Group 2.
Hello, may I add?
Yeah, please.
Like I was in Karuna's group, so I would like to add few more points which we had discussed. Like she has mentioned the topic festivals. So along with the culture, how to merge it with language, if we can say. So we at Edmonton Marathi School, what we do, recently we had celebrated Ganpati festival. So like we have introduced, hello, am I audible?
Yeah. Yes, we can hear you.
So like Ganpati idol making with the clay, and we introduced the words related to that festival. So children made Ganpati idol. After that, like we say, they modak. So how to write that word in Marathi? So how to give that matra, modak, how to write that, which all three letters come into it. So like that, durva, how to write that word, durva. So all the things related to Ganpati festival we discuss. Same like that in Diwali, we do lantern making, diya decoration, and same all these words along with Diwali, children try to write. So the vocabulary is introduced. And like Dashera, we do Saraswati Puja, Goddess Saraswati Puja. So culture and language both are merged at Edmonton Marathi School. Also, we have discussed one point, that story making with the students. So how to make this story? Like suppose we are enacting any one word. So what is this? This is lion. It means in Marathi, it is called Sinha. The Sinha. So include that word in your sentence. So once upon a time there was a lion. So the children will come out with this sentence so that their vocabulary will enhance, their thinking level, their creativity, their ideology, whatever, all the things will be merged into it. And visual, auditory and kinesthetic, all three types of learners will be included in that. So we have discussed this part also. And same way, like we can introduce through drama. We have one teacher like Anjali ma'am, she is with us. So she introduces the topic and she assigns the roles to the students, and children, they present it, they prepare it, and they present the drama also in their in our Marathi language. So this way it can be continued to the next level. Thank you so much.
Yes. No, very nice. The vocabulary thing, it's a very good way to introduce. Means kids will learn those words which we often use in our festivals and all. So, no, and I used to do one thing with this, like I used to prepare bingo sheet using, if there's a Diwali, so we'll prepare bingo sheet using those words related. So they will come to know, okay, what is fire, crackers, right? So atishbaji. So I'll have that word. So if they know that word, they will cross it out. So like different ways. I really like the idea of making the idol, Ganpati idol with the clay. That's very interesting.
Actually make it.
Yes. And even like story making, that was another good thing which I learned. Like, give them a word and then they start making story out of it, right? No, definitely. Very nice. Thanks for sharing those.
Thank you.
Okay, group 1 is done, or anything else you want to add to it? Okay, next. Yeah, thanks. Let's move to group 2. Gauri?
Okay,
Hi,
I will
okay.
or
We are,
Pranajika, you wanna start? Okay, go ahead.
yeah, Zitka, it's okay. Go ahead.
So we kind of discussed the similar topics. You know, we using, or some of the schools, you know, that they use the storytelling as well, or they talk about what the kids they have to at the beginning of the class. They say what they have done in the past week, you know, what's new, you know, what they would like to share. We agreed also that we use games, you know. So that's very, I think, yeah, very important. So kids are engaged. It's usually fun for them. Yes, and you can use it as a warm-up at the beginning of the class or during when you explain stuff. I think, who was it? Yeah, she said that for the kids, the little kids, the really young kids, play school kids, that she says a letter, and they have to stand up, you know, when they hear that letter, and that letter is in their name, so they have to stand up and do a dance or something, or some funny movements. I like that. Yeah.
So with that letter, or is there a word? What do you?
A letter.
Letters.
And
Okay.
then they hear that letter in their names, right? In the right.
Uh-huh.
So that's how they, and that's important, right? So they are learning to listen to the language, right? To not just the words, but also the letters, and that's very important to pick up the language, right?
Yeah. And the sound of that letter, right?
And sound about those letter, that's very important for each language. Yeah. Yeah, so the songs, yeah, lots of songs, rhymes. In my language, yeah, there's lots of songs. Even when you were talking about teach them how to count, so we have songs, you know, and then you can use the like your fingers and do the counting. Yeah. So I think, yeah, that's what we in our group what we were talking about.
Yeah. And one technique, I'm sorry, I like to add one technique that I think Prasanthi suggested that she was using was movements, you know, in between the class, some movements. And when that breaks the monotony, and also that makes them excited. And when they move, each move has a name in our own language, right? So they learn the name of the movement, as well as they enjoy and feel relaxed and much more motivated.
Yeah. So what do you do for movement, like within the class?
Like if we are sitting, we tell them to stand up, but in our language, Uta, right? So they will learn. So they will break the monotony and they will learn one word. Or jump, you know, or raise your hand, or you know, something like that.
No, definitely. No, with the song, I remember like we too have we have head, shoulder, knees, and toes to learn the body parts. In our heritage language, we also have similar songs, so we use that. That really helps kids to learn the body parts, and they're doing action, so the movement also comes in. No, definitely, it's a very good idea.
Yeah, that's the same.
Yeah, sorry. For me, when I was with level 1, age 6 to 8, I used to teach them alphabets of our language, and I used to relate them to our body parts. Like Kha is our first alphabet, and what comes with that late, like case, means hair, right?
Yeah.
So that way they were learning the alphabet as well as the name of the body parts. That was also very good technique. I think that was effective.
Yeah. No, definitely. Like, as we said, we have to use age appropriate. Like if we have the beginners level, we can do something. And for the same thing, if we have to make elder kids, like the higher level kids learn the same thing, we'll use some different techniques. No, I totally agree with that. Jitka, you want to add something to it?
Yes, with the songs, there's another good game to play, that you let them play a song, and it can be used either you like listen to the song, like let's say, yeah, we're learning about fall, and what's everything we our traditions and our culture, what kids do, and say, okay, so listen to the song and try to pick up all the words that are connected to fall, like leaves in my language, or a kite, or mushrooms, like mushroom, picking mushrooms, it's in our culture. So all these, so try to focus, or you can use it when you're learning, you want them to know what a verb is, So yeah, so again, you can play the song and tell them, so try to, if you can hear a verb, so tell me all the verbs that you heard in the song. So
oh wow.
Or could be nouns, adjectives, prepositions, whatever, right?
No, definitely asking questions in between, like if we are showing them something, they will be little alert also, right? That will No, I really like that idea. Anything else from group 2? Okay, no, thanks. Those were really great ideas. We'll move on to the next group 3.
Okay,
Anyone
so
else?
in group 3, the sticky notes didn't work for us, so we just did with old school paper and pen. We just came with 5 ideas. Some of them were already discussed. So, for example, dramatic play. It's important for roles playing, history of our countries. Also, important thing, cultural celebrations like festivals. The kids will learn about the history, about culture, food, clothes, and all this stuff. Also, music. Music is engaging. It's fun. Kids can memorize words and all this stuff. Cooking. There is lots of cultural thing. Kids can learn lots of words as well, like spices and this stuff. And the last thing, crafts. Crafts is engaging. The kids will just get good, like the motor skills. They can have fun, and yeah, I think that's everything what we just talk about in our group.
Yeah, no, definitely crafts is very good way to keep the kids engaged. They can stay connected, they will be focused, they will be coming up with so much great ideas. And while teaching crafts, with the crafts, right, we introduce so many vocabulary words with them also, right? Like colors, or I don't know, many things can be done. It's not just craft, they're also learning our heritage language along with that. Anything else, group 3?
I just want to add a little more about, and I'm also in group 3. So we talk about a lot of things, and I just focused on our cultural celebration, because we, especially Gurukul Nepali Pathshala, we teach our students through culture. That means we celebrate all the cultures in a school, and we teach them like how it's celebrated, what is its importance, what kind of dress we wear, what kind of food we eat. Like there is a lot of connection, like cooking foods, special food, and cooking a lot of spices, like from the Nepal, like our culture. And our race is totally different than here. Those things they learn already from the culture. That's why this is way more important for us. Thanks.
No, definitely, like about the dress, which you said, right? When they look at the videos, they will have so much curiosity to know, like, what is this? And we can teach, because I don't know, like in our like we wear different kind of dresses during different festivals too,
that's
right?
true.
Yeah,
Right.
so yeah, making those connections, the kids will automatically come to know, oh, this is the festival, this is when we do something. Like I remember we have a festival called Raksha Bandhan, where we celebrate the bond between a brother and a sister.
Same, right.
Yeah, so the kids, they quickly come to know, oh, we have to give some gift to our sister, we'll get, it's a day. So these things, yeah, really, it matters. Yeah.
Because our motto is not only teaching them the language, we are offering them like to learn the culture and celebrate it as well in the different country. That's why.
No, totally agree. Yeah. Because just if we keep giving them language, it will be too much academic for them, right? And
That's
kids
true.
learn,
That's true.
yeah, kids learn more when we talk about like dance, music, culture, so they
Right.
become more engaged. Or even I like the drama, and group 1 shared that story making. I really like that idea. Like they give them a word, they make a story, and they will be able to make the stories only when they know about our culture, right? About how it has been with our family, or how our grandparents or parents used to live. So they can start making stories. Yeah.
Right. Thanks.
Yeah. No, thank you, Meena. Thank you for sharing your ideas. Anyone else? Sharmila?
Yes. Yeah, because last we are talking about the culture. Yeah, we are like demonstrating them the culture. And last time we did as a drama. I involved all the children in different dress shop, and they did the drama, so they understood more clearly. It was so good for them to learn about the culture. And last week I teach the like a big league group, and then last week they did like the one game, just like hangman game, and the children, yeah, they all engaged that, and they were like so curious to learn more like Nepali word, and they were telling the words, and it was so helpful them, and they all were so curious to tell the new Nepali words. It was so fun, and each child was interested to play a game. So it was like, I feel like this is very good to learn them the new Nepali word, discovering the words.
No, totally agree. We have a game, like it's called Antakshari. I'm not sure how many of, yeah, like it's singing thing, right? But we connect with it like with the kids because they don't know that many heritage language songs. So we play the word games with them. Like, okay, you say that word, that the kids had to catch the last letter of that word, and they have to say another word with that. So
The hangman game also, they were so curious, they discovered new words, and they were so focused to the other child what they are gonna say the new word. And it was really so helpful for them because they played maybe the other way also, so they are so interested in this game also.
Sharmila, which age group did you play this hangman game?
Because I teach in level 3, this is the graduation level, so yeah, it depends on the grades. 7, 8, all age kids over there. Yeah.
No, that's why I was trying to understand, because young kids will not have that much vocabulary to build that word, but because you're at level 3, so yeah, no, definitely a good idea. Yeah, no, definitely, like we try different things depending upon the age of the kids, right?
And
yeah, totally depends on age.
Yeah, because my age group, they play a drama, so they understand very well, understanding the like a cultural. Last year I did the drama for the Dasara time, and they would so understand. And Diwali time also we do love our cultural, like a Diwali. It's like called a Devsi Bhaido, and they sing a song, and they did this. So they were so interested, and they learn a lot about that thing. So these the drama kinds of things, they're showing interested, rather than if we teach everyday class, they are not showing that much interested. Yeah, so we use the more in the Canadian what they are doing every day, and then we ask them what you do, where did you go, and just like tell in our language, and they started learning more, and they seem more curious about to tell them. Sometimes if I like to teach them, and they are not showing that much interest. Yeah.
No, I agree. I have seen that too. Like if we teach them anything through drama or dance, they are more excited to learn, right? Rather than, okay, we sit and keep them giving the words, or it will not work. And it goes in their brain as well. As we said, right? Visuals, images and all these things, they are more catchy. They get more engaged. We don't have to even ask them. I remember when I was doing something like that, the attendance of my class also increased. Like everybody used to come. Even the parents was giving us the feedback, like kids want to go to the school. because of these activities, rather than if it was just academic. No, they were pushing them. But once I started this drama and all those things, then they were really excited to come to the school. And yeah, they were like, okay, when is our next class? Something like that was coming up. So it was good to get this feedback from the parents, and it was really engaging.
And
Yeah.
my junior league school, we are doing like the volunteer by the graduated student, the who got the graduate, they come to volunteer, and they help them a lot because they know how the teaching going on this school, and they sometimes they make the plan for them and they teach them. It's like this is a very good way they are catching so quickly, rather than for us they catch from the student easily.
Yeah. No, definitely. Even in our school, we do that, like big buddy thing. Whoever is graduating from our school, we ask them to come volunteer and help them as an assistant teacher. And when those kids make the young kids learn, they learn it very quickly. I have seen that. Like whenever I had volunteer assistant teachers, especially with the younger level, if the assistant teacher teaches the same thing, they get it more quickly than when we do it. So that's a good idea. Very nice. Yeah. And I heard somebody saying Dipavali in Nepal. So in India also, the correct way is Dipavali. We started saying Diwali. So no worries about that. Yeah. Anything else from group 3? Okay, let's move on to our last group 4. I'm having a long list of these ideas. That's very nice to have. Group 4.
Hi, I'll be talking for group 4. I'm just going to be reading from the Jamboard because we took notes and then I put them in after. So
Okay.
we came up with these as a whole of ways of engaging students. So one of the group members was mentioning that making flashcards with visuals on them and also the accompanying word so that they can see and connect the visual to the actual word that they're trying to understand and learn. Drawing instead of writing, so encouraging them to show what they know in different ways. Maybe they're not able to fully write it yet, but they can draw it. So if you say something in your language and they're able to at least translate that in like word form, picture, or pointing to something that makes sense to them, at least they're grasping the idea of the word and the how it associates between English and the language that you're trying to teach them. One of the group members also brought up the great idea about a daily routine. So how you describe your daily routine in your language. So once you wake up, like how are you greeting your parents in the morning in your language? What kind of foods are you going to eat? How are you articulating what you want to wear? How you feel today? So it's like the everyday type of conversation that you have in your native language or the language that you're trying to learn. In that daily routine, it becomes more of a natural type of process. So you're thinking in that language instead of English, you're kind of maximizing it in the other language. Also, another strategy is having students teach to one another. So once you have taken the time to teach to them what you want them to understand, seeing if they can relay that to somebody else who maybe is learning, or just to see how the teaching aspect goes, because it's a different type of process. You'll have to explain that in a different way than rather just saying that word. It's like maybe they don't fully understand what you're trying to say, so you have to take it to another level and like articulate more so what you're trying to say to them. Also, like everybody's been saying, engaging them in their culture. So encouraging them to speak more, making them feel self-motivated to want to learn and share their knowledge, doing projects together, working together so that they can kind of bounce ideas off of one another. Specifically when like us teachers are teaching, to try to speak only in that language and try to help the students do the same thing. So if they don't know how to say a word or a phrase, like, can I go to the bathroom? Say that to me in English, and then I'll tell you it in the language, and then you're going to tell me that back in my language. So it's kind of like the bridge between English and the language, and then how they can you can show them how to do it, right?
Yeah. No.
And then we also talked about positive reinforcement specifically. So instead of saying, oh, that's not right, or oh, you were so close, you can say, oh, you did great at like pronouncing this word correctly, or using the accent here in that word, or you spelt that word great. And then you can build from their self-confidence of knowing that they can do something right. And then say, okay, you know, now we can work on this. You did this so well. I know you can do this well as too. So those were our main takeaways.
No, great ideas. And I get that when you say we have to keep, they say that in their English language and then we translate. So one of our job as a heritage language is like a translator, right? Because they cannot make complete sentence. They can use here and there another words, but we keep telling them, like consistency, another one of our principle. We keep telling them, oh, this is how we translate and this is the correct way to use that sentence. That really helps. And even I really like the idea of positive enforcement. That do wonders. Like if we keep giving them positive feedback, then yeah, they get that more and they are more encouraged and engaged in our class, rather than if we give them anything negative, which I'm sure none of us do, but still, like positive reinforcement is really, really good idea to keep them engaged and be in the class. Anything else from group 4?
I just miss coffee. Sorry.
You miss coffee?
Then Josephine, you can go ahead and talk
Yeah.
about some of the
Okay.
thoughts.
All right. Well, thank you. This is really a very good PD, and thank you, Archana, for those beautiful techniques that you have really presented. Because even my own, because as I said, I've been teaching my heritage language here in Edmonton for the past 40 years. Okay.
Wow.
All the things that you have been saying, we've been doing it, especially the arts, the crafts, the culture, the history, and so on. But we have added on 2 more things that we already think is going to be very important. Involve your grandparents if they're with you. Involve your parents in the classroom by letting them even tell their own stories of their own childhood back in the country of origin. You know, they would love when they called me to go and talk to our kindergarten to grade 6 class. They would say, all right, Grandma, or they call me Lola. That's in our language. Okay, Lola, what did you do when you were in the Philippines? So I'd say, oh my goodness, I almost drowned many times because I went through a river and I did not know how to swim. And then I start talking in our Filipino language and showing them everything. And they say, oh, that's so good. So then involve your parents or grandparents there. Okay. Now, the third thing, but it is very challenging, but this will really motivate your children to even come from the time they are in kindergarten all the way to high school. It worked for us for the Filipino language program. It's taking them to an educational travel or competition to your country of origin. Okay? So you have to connect with your country of origin and would say, we have a group here that we would really want to present or to bring to the country. And you try to take a region, a place where you would really want to do that. And you will have to involve, again, the parents. Because if the parents are involved, this will motivate them to even motivate the children. And the competition is more on the song and dancing. So if we go to the Philippines and they will see our Canadian children singing in their song in an English accent, they are so happy. The native kids would really love to say, oh my gosh, the Filipino Canadian children, you know, they know their language. So it's really, really, really something else. But you have to prepare them for that. Okay. That's fundraising that you really have to start. So when you meet with your parents, you have to tell your parents, these are our activities that we would look forward. You might not do it for the year, but you will work on the second year. So you still have 2 years to do the fundraising. At the same time, connect with your host country, because they will help you. The government will help you because they're so eager to get their own countrymen coming from Canada to visit them in the country of origin.
No, Josephine, thank you for sharing those information. And even this is a new idea for me. Involve your parents and grandparents in class, right? Like this is really, this is a very good idea, which never clicked in my mind. Yeah, but definitely I'll share this with my school as well, so that, it will help us. Even kids, when they see their grandparents coming to the class and sharing these real life stories, they will be more excited.
Yes. Yes. Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Josephine.
We
If I
actually
can just
do that.
one-
I'm sorry. We keep doing that in Gurukul Nepali Parsala. Like when we have celebration, we just call all the parents and grandparents and let them bless to the kids. So that's how we engage with the kids and grandparents, not only from home, from all the community. Even those grandparents whose children not coming to the school, still we invite them and we ask them to offer the culture to the kids.
Yeah, good.
I also had one more thing or thought to share when Josephine mentioned, right, that would be great to plan like a trip, to organize a trip to the country of your heritage language. Definitely that would be wonderful. But like for our community, I know that would be really, really hard to plan and organize. But I would like to mention that also there might be some contests in your heritage language, maybe from some other schools around the world or from your own country, that your kids can participate. And that's how engage in the language, that they can accomplish something, and then they can be proud, really proud of, what they have done. Like last year, 2 of our students, they participated in translating a contest, and they even, they had really good, like real results, and good reviews on that translation. So that's something that you can look into, or you can reconnect with some other schools, of your language, either from Canada or abroad.
Yeah, and I will add on to that too. There are contests, that's for sure. We also joined in an arts contest on environment.
Yeah, it could be anything. Doesn't have to be just language. Or very often it's about books.
We also involve our group on the International Peace Day of Peace, and that was just September 21. Our children from our school were part of the program. Yes, we showed them songs in the Filipino language that means peace, or drama that means peace, and dances. Yes, that's a good idea. Yeah, add it on. Thank you.
Oh, no, definitely, Jitka, this is an amazing idea to have contests, and this will and this will help them to even assess their understanding, right? And they will feel proud when they award themselves. When we award them, then they will feel something they have accomplished, right? While coming to the heritage language.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, all these ideas were great, because we, as a heritage language teachers, we are given the challenge, right, to try to increase the language skills, despite seeing our kids just for a few hours. So it's a big challenge for us to promote our heritage language. And but many teachers are able to overcome this barrier, because they find some students, they are even they often approach the heritage class with more seriousness than a normal class, because they know they are here for just few hours and they have to make the most use of time, right? So we, as a teacher and a few students, we recognize that this is the specific time dedicated to improve the heritage language skills and connect to an identity. That is very important for many kids and to their family. Like family, they want their kids to be part of it. Oh, one second. So students in a heritage language program, they often receive more written homework. Like our class should be more focused on communication. So because if we start engaging in writing, writing can be part of their homework, right? And we can have more communication because they have very less interaction in the social life, right? Very few people will be speaking their heritage language. So we can like work on these, how to keep them more engaged and even promote the language learning skills for them. I'll continue sharing my screen. Okay. Especially visiting grandparents. Yeah, that's very nice. Like even in our school, we have something like when we celebrate uh, festivals, then we do invite parents, their grandparents to come and see their performances or to engage with other parents. But this involving them in the class, we never thought about that. So this is really a new great idea.
Do it.
Yeah, no, definitely. So thank you all for sharing your idea. I hope we all learned and will grow as a teacher. This is the motive of this presentation.
Yes.
So these are a few tips and techniques that I came up with. Most of these techniques have already been discussed. We already brought it up, but I'll just quickly go over it. Building a positive learning environment, know your students, define expectations, encourage participation, ask for feedback, share your enthusiasm, make it personal, make learning fun, have discussions, not lectures. We are not here to give lectures. Be supportive and encouraging. So, building a positive learning environment. When we say this, how can we build this learning environment, a positive learning environment? What do you think?
Engaging more to them and lecturing less.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So that's the way we create the engagement. But when we say positive learning, see, students learn better when they are part of supportive community learners, right? Or when we create an environment where they feel that they are being accepted, they are being seen, they are being valued, then they are more likely to um, participate. Sorry, Gauri. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, like where here you are asking that why it is important to understand student background knowledge. Because if we know the previous knowledge, if we have the previous knowledge of the child, then only we can plan from where to start in that way. That is why it is important. And so that we can, start it with that knowledge, so we can make use of the previous knowledge and we can add our teaching pattern into it and we can move ahead.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And child will be interested, yeah, and he will not bore, yeah. If we know his background and knowledge, then if we keep that same label, then he will not bore and he will more curious to learn new things, yeah.
Yes, no, definitely. And yeah, they will they will feel that we are accepting them, right? We are seeing them. And we know like when we enter the classroom, like as a teacher, we choose what to teach and how to present it. So teachers also consider how to attract students, right? Students' attentions and memories by building on what students already know and structuring learning into small steps so that we can teach them new material.
And when I start my class with the student, I always start with a routine. Okay, how was your weekend? What you did? And then try to find some point, and I just take my conversation to my topic. Okay, I'm gonna teach two kids about the fruits. Then you went to the market. Oh yeah, what did you buy there? And then we connected the fruit. So through the conversation, they feel so engaged, and then starting telling the things what they buy, and then you have to just connect your topic with that. So I always start my class with this.
That's a very good motivation, because then they know exactly what you're talking about the fruit that they ate or they bought and so on. And then they can even share the taste, especially our own fruits coming from our own countries. Where do we find them? Where do we buy them here in Edmonton? So that's another way to let them really share, you know?
Yep. Thank you.
No, thank you for sharing that. That's really a good way to start that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, know your students. We have been talking about this, like knowing our students. So to have like 20 years of teaching as a part-time. Means I always has passion for teaching, so I continued even with my professional career. I kept this at a side. So I have firm opinions about this, like successful school year that starts, build, and end with creating connections and caring relationship with every single student. If you build that connection with your student, you know your student, they will be very much engaged in the class. We can try various things, like we can break it down to individual daily connection, any touch point, like give them a smile, like greet them by their name, or even comment on the beautiful, our students' favorite t-shirts. Few simple things, and this add up to build a strong student-teacher relationship, which is, I would say, is the foundation of all successful teaching and learning. So know your students, knowing their name. If it takes time, but if we address them by their name, they feel very happy. Yeah, I know, like many times my kids keep correcting me. Oh, this is not my name. I keep calling them like because we have so many kids, we mess up in between. But yeah, knowing their names really add values to it. Any comment on that?
Yes, exactly, because that gives you a personal touch.
Personal touch, yeah.
Personal touch also. Like I had in my career, I used to write every child's name, and I used to make strips, like suppose 20 students in my class, so 20 name strips. As soon as the child entered in the class, he used to pick up his name's strip, and he used to put it with the peg on the string, so that the child feels that personal attention also. And we could make out easily, we could make out that who is absent, and reading the child's name in the own language, that also is a very helpful thing. So we used to had this activity.
Yeah. Even I remember we had some activity where we made the kids write, we used clay and made them write their name in their heritage language using clay. So they have this forever. Like my son did it, and like, because they are not used to it, he passed out. He's still connected with my school, but now to write it down, when he looks at his name, the way it was written, he still can write his name in his heritage language, because he keeps seeing that, and I have kept it like a special. No, I have framed it and kept it there. So yeah, no, really, those things, small things, they add values. Thank you for sharing. Next slide. Next slide is about defining the expectations. So classroom expectations, these are the guidelines that we put in place to assist the students, right? And teachers in maintaining structure. We have to have a definite structure if we want to keep the kids engaged. These guidelines, they help for students to understand what type of behaviors are expected of them throughout the duration of the class. It also helps us as a teacher to focus more on the academic. If we know, like, set the expectation, like they should know that they can't interrupt when we are talking, who's speaking, right? We have to be respectful, speak loud enough so everyone can hear. I'm sure everybody, as a teacher, you guys will be having some classroom, you must be defining some expectation in the class. And if you can share, like, which works for you. Like in my class, I remember one of my kid, Even if I had all the expectations set, he will be distracting the entire class. He is the only one jumping around. So we, in spite of having these, will have challenges. But still, I feel for the rest of the class, the expectation, it worked really good.
Yes, I told them my rule of the class is first try to speak in our language in Hindi, and second, be well behaved. Third, discipline, maintain discipline. Fourth, listen to me.
Yes, very nice. Like we need to set expectations, otherwise, no. I used to see like
one of my students is very wild. Then I 2 weeks I tolerate him, and he is very young. So, and next day I asked him, you want to be a good boy or you want to be a bad boy? He said, good boy, obviously. Then I said, why you are doing bad things then? Then still immediately he was like, no, I will not do that. He was keep switch offing off the button on off, and I said, stop doing this, stop doing this, and he was not listening. Then I asked him, you want to be a good boy or bad boy? Then he said, good boy.
No, definitely agree. All kids, they are different. Like, and it's they have different learning pace as well, right? Like to we can set the expectation that this is what we want them to achieve at the end of this level, but because every kid has a different learning pace, so and not all students progress at the pace of a typical learner. So we have to, yeah, defining the expectation, as you said, keep reminding him. He will be distracting your class, but if you keep, you want to move ahead, you want to be a good boy, then this really helps. Yes, Pushpa. Pushpa, you have your hand raised. Do you want to add something? Okay, anybody else wants to add to this? Okay, let's
Sometimes we have to look
agreement
at the situation. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead,
Sorry.
please.
I'm Anjali.
Yes.
When I was teaching my class, Symbiosis International School, we had a class agreement. Means all the children, they know that if we want to learn something and effectively, then we have to have an agreement. We have to have some policy. So making them a responsible student and responsible learning, we asked them, we had a meeting and we jot down the points that if these things are observed, then the imparting of the knowledge or learning will be successful. It will be reached at a greater height. And then what we decided the points. Then the children made a chart and then they wrote on the chart the expectations of the students or the class expects. And then it was hung on the wall for the whole year. So they know that we have to follow this.
Yeah.
So
no, that's really good.
From the children, and it came from their brainstorming.
Yeah, no, that's very good. Having the rules in place and like having it in the class, kids can, whenever they enter the class, they will read it. So they will have it in brain. Oh, these are the rules, right? So
and
no.
the children themselves made it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it was more effective than
More
teacher
effective.
telling them, than teacher writing.
Yeah. No, definitely. Even
from the children, from the brainstorming and discussions.
no, that's really good because if we tell them, they might not follow. But because it's coming up from them, they will definitely keep that in mind. No, really good idea to get the rules created from the kids. Anything else? Somebody else was talking? Okay, let's move on. So next up, technique is to encourage participation. How can we encourage participation? Like one small technique I used in this presentation was to encourage participation was to divide the group into smaller breakout room. And that made everybody got involved. They got a chance to present their ideas. They got a chance to talk. So this is the same technique I use in my class as well. I divide the class in small groups so that they can participate. Every kid get a chance to participate. So we have to encourage the kids to participate more, we have to teach them responsibility. And we have to get them involved in the class. We have to make the participation fun by giving each student a job to do. Like we did in this breakout room, we assign some teacher, okay, you do the presentation, you do the scribing part, you give some ideas. So if in same thing, if we use in a class, give students some responsibility to do, then this will increase the participation level. I ask open-ended questions in my class. Sometimes I even call on students who don't have their hand raised, because some kids, they have their fear, right? Fear to answer anything. So even if they don't raise their hand, encourage them, right? Encourage them to participate. Some students, they will struggle. So as a teacher, I would say we have to find out why students, they are not participating. Sometimes they may be afraid of something. So we have to create an atmosphere that encourages participation. That is one thing we as a teacher must know. How can we encourage the kids to participate in the class? Because if they are not talking, if they are not participating in the class, trust me, they will never be engaged in a class. They will be looking at the time when the time is tick, tick, tick to go home. So create an atmosphere, make them participate in class that will engage them. Any activity any of you perform to encourage participation?
Yeah, reward method is the best thing. Like the one who answers, so we can give them stars or smileys on the board. The reward method works. I really had an experience about it.
Yeah, I use that in UCMAS, the abacus thing, where I used to be a course instructor. With every correct thing they do, we used to give them a small sticker. And just a sticker, and they used to work so much. They used to be so much engaged in the class. Oh, I have to earn that sticker. So you are very right. Small reward that encourages participation.
Yeah, and if we give any topic to discuss, in the class, so the child, if he says any point, so that other children will not repeat his point, so that everybody will come out with the new points, and everybody's participation will be there.
Yeah, that way you are encouraging creativity as well, right?
Yeah.
So no, that's a very good idea. You have to come up with a new point.
Yeah, thank
you. And
so
sometimes the student afraid to talk because they think if I'm gonna talk, maybe I will be used like a wrong word, or maybe my pronunciation will be not good. Then I will let them know, okay, you can speak in English, but I'm here to help you to convert in Hindi. And then after using you just translate the language, and then they feel little, I can repeat this word after my teacher. So they get little positive.
Yeah. No, you are very right. The one important role we play as a heritage language teacher is that of a translator. We have to keep translating them. And creating a safe environment where they feel safe to share their ideas. This way we can encourage participation. Definitely. Thank you for sharing that. Let's move on. Next is ask for feedback. Getting students' feedback will be very meaningful. This will help us to grow as a teacher. Not only as a teacher, as a human also. If we get feedback from others, oh, you're doing this well, this needs to be improved, take suggestions, take feedback, take it in a positive way, and we'll grow as a human and as a teacher. But because we are heritage language teacher, we need to know, what do they want from us? If we are offering them something which they don't want, will they like to come to our class? No. So we need to know that. So even check with the parents and inform them about their kids' progress, how they're doing. Ask for any suggestions from them. Sometimes the parents, they suggest some beautiful ideas, and we try to implement that in class, and it works like anything. I have done in my class, like I have taken suggestions from parents. They give us very, very brilliant ideas, some things which I never even thought of, because everybody has some creative thinking skills. So ask for their suggestions. It's inevitable that some feedback will feel negative, but what that happens as an instructor, as a teacher, we should try to take what's actionable and leave what's emotional. We have to learn to ignore also something, because I know negative feedback will make us feel bad, but we have to work on it, improve on it, and then progress. Any teacher who takes feedback from kids or parents for their class?
Yeah, I just do like after done the class, I ask the kid like, what was your most favorite part today in the classroom? Yeah, and they share their, I like this most, I like that most, and
Yeah.
connect with that ideas and make another lesson plan.
Yeah.
It's easy for that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Based on the feedback, we can change the content. It's not that we have put this is a lesson plan, this is what we are trying to achieve. We can, the template will still be the same, but the content, the way we are teaching, the way we are delivering the information, that will change depending on the kids' feedback. Right? Every student is different, their way of learning, every class is different. So we have to adopt as per the kids. It's not that the same technique we can keep using, even if I'm teaching level 1. Every time the same tips and techniques which are used for level 1 class, every year it has to change depending on the kind of kids we get. Right? Yes, Ms. Sita Saraswat, you want to add anything?
Well, when you ask,
actually, yeah, it's really important to know what the kids like to do. Like maybe some kids, they just want to learn the fun way. They just want to learn the game way. So yeah, I agree with that. We have to find every time we have like a one material, but we have to give that material like a process, like a different way. So all students get chance. Maybe the student will be fit in there.
Yeah.
Maybe with the singing way, with the dancing way, maybe the video, maybe the visual. So I just try to use all things. So every student will be involved in there.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay. All right. When you really ask for feedback, you're really making the students participate. You're really motivating them to listen, because they will never be able to give feedback if they're not really listening to you. At the same time, you're really challenging them to become more critical thinkers in language. Yeah. So that really helps for sure.
No. It will help us as a teacher, as a person to grow. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Next is share your enthusiasm. Like, this is foremost importance is for the teachers to communicate his or her own enthusiasm. When I say enthusiasm, this doesn't mean that many may seem to think like jumping around like a cheerleader and saying, hi, is this fun? No, this is not what enthusiasm is. We have to show the real passion that we are deeply trying to connect with one kid, with their work. And when we do that connection with the kids, I have seen kids' eyes light up. So enthusiasm, many may think, oh, she's trying to show off. Don't think that way. Like, ask them, hello, how are you doing this? It's okay in a different tone. Kids feel engaged. I have seen that with my kid, and I have seen their teacher doing it, and I learned this technique. And I feel like whenever I do this with my kids in the class, they feel that I'm being enthusiastic and trying to understand them, trying to know them. So teachers' enthusiasm, I say, this sparks the curiosity for student and jumpstarts their motivation to learn. We have to motivate kids to learn. So you can give verbal praise for their success. If they accomplish something, give them praise. Provide motivating feedback immediately. Immediately is very important. Like if they are doing something good, immediately praise them. Give them whatever they have done their task or anything, praise them then and there. This will really, you will grow, you are sharing your enthusiasm, and kids are also getting motivated to learn. You'll see that students are being more attentive in class. When you are enthusiastic, If you come, sit down, no Anto, no nothing, they won't be that much attentive. We have to show our enthusiasm to make them attentive in our class and show great interest in theories, right? Then only they will learn new knowledge. They will learn new things. Do you guys agree with this enthusiasm thing?
Oh, yeah. Teacher is
Yeah.
not just going to be standing. She should also be a participant in what she says. And that's the way you can really make them see that you are going to be holding hands with them at the same time. And if they're skipping, you can also skip. Oh, well, despite the fact that maybe you're heavier or you're older, that you cannot move, but still just joining in and laughing with them really gives
Yeah.
kind of
Mhm.
enthusiasm.
Yeah. Be part of them. I totally agree, Josephine. Next is making it personal. We have talked about this, like make it personal, provide opportunities for students to share their own experience and perspective. We share our own, but allow them, let them feel safe, let them share their ideas, make it little personal. When we share a smile with them, when we do something, a little act, they will feel good. They will be happy to share their own experience and perspective. If we listen to them, we react to this will make our kids class more engaging. Anything you guys do to make the class little personal, give it a personal touch?
In my class is mostly is sibling, like a brother and sister.
Okay.
And when we are talking about like a personal things, and then just I'm starting something, and then both they start like, okay, my brothers do this at home, my sister do that home. Like they just start like, my God.
Yeah.
And that is
No.
so funny.
No, it's funny and it's good for you as a teacher, Mrs. Sita Saraswat, because the kids are there feeling safe. They're sharing their ideas, their perspective with you. Means you are running the class very smoothly. You are knowing your students. So that's very good. If kids are they're feeling safe to share their experience, we are doing good job as a teacher. So no, that's very nice.
Thank you.
And
Next
you can go back to your first technique when you say if they are able to share personal stories, they really trust you as a teacher. Yeah.
Yeah. What you're doing is you're building a positive environment for the kids, right? And they will learn, they will grow.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Thank you. Next one is making learning fun. This we have already said, right?
Yeah, a lot.
So we all know students will learn more effectively when the classroom environment is positive. Fun and enjoyment, like I as a grown-up also enjoy, and I'm very sure kids, they do love it. These are the important factors in creating positivity among students and teachers. This helps students grasp concept easily, make them more expressive, and this really will increase the engagement level. Like if you be with them, you be a part of them, they will be engaged, right? Like fun learning, it also provides an opportunity for students to use their imagination and explore their thoughts, right? They will be more creative. It develops their language, creativity, social, emotional skills. So there is nothing, if we make our learning fun, kids will be engaged. They will like to come up. There are various techniques you can use to make learning fun. I'm pretty sure you guys must be using something. Like if we have already discussed, like they use games, use dance, music. You can even offer them choices. You can do the breakup of lessons. Anything else which you guys do to make learning fun? I also like the idea of, I don't remember who did, but they said move around, movement. That
yeah.
also helps, yeah, make the learning fun. Like there's a song, um, I remember when I was teaching them right and left, I used that song. Left, something was the boo, boogie, boogie. Kids learn that song and then they remember those words, left and right. So no, those are really great ways to make learning fun.
Yeah,
We
and last I play, like my kids play Antakshari, as you mentioned, and I divide my class in two groups, and on the board I write like this is group A and this is group B, and then I just start writing the points too, and so they just like are so happy and try to get like a win, but the positive way, because we are come to like a positive way, not like a negative way. So I have to keep in this mind too.
No, you're doing good. You're incorporating games to, and you're creating a healthy environment for the kids. They're being little competitive, and as well as they're learning the heritage language. And we have to come up with some ideas. We have to be creative to make this learning fun. If it is fun, don't worry, they will not leave us. They will be involved with us. Okay, let's move on. Next is having discussions, not lectures. So when we discuss, everybody gets time to share. So then everybody is involved. That's just what I feel. If I keep delivering things, it will not grow. It will not going to stay in their mind. So have discussions. See, lectures can be effective, but discussions, it helps students to learn the foundational knowledge. And I feel that discussion is better at promoting thought among students and engaging in their interest. They will be more involved as a class. So, and if we have a whole class discussions, it can also encourage students to learn from one another, right? As you said, like if one kid, they teach the other kid, they learn it more effectively and more quickly than when we do that. So having discussions and to learn from each other, this will help keep the class engaged. So yeah, try interactive dynamic of discussions that can help students learn and even motivate them to complete their homework or even be prepared for the class. So focus on having discussions. Give them chance, give them an opportunity to share their perspective. Do you guys agree with this? Having
I would like to say more like a facilitator than the teacher at that time.
Yeah. We have to facilitate the meeting. We have to facilitate the class, give them everybody a chance to speak up.
Yeah,
Anyone?
always like teaching learning process is a pouring out process. We never say that we are pouring in. So it's a pouring out process. So we always motivate them to discuss the thing and asking open-ended question to them. Like we can start with the situational teaching and coming up to our topic. We can do that also so that the children can be interactive and they can give their ideas also and they can participate in the discussion. So it will not be a lecture. Thank you so much.
No, definitely. I like your idea of saying open-ended questions. That is very good. That's a great way to keep the kids involved and to encourage their participation again, right?
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, let's move on. Be supportive and encouraging. So we have to support kids. Like students, they today deal with so many different challenges, right? They face issues that they have never faced, like we as a teacher or as a parent or a school administrator. So they have different challenges. We need to understand them. There's so much going on. There's so much rapid pace of advancement, even in learning technologies. Means students are constantly they need to adjust to these new tools and techniques, right? Like even with COVID, we went online. Even I know some of the classes they run online. So the kids, they are getting these challenges. Like for online classes, they need to learn how to mute, unmute, how to use the chat, how to use the Jamboard. Like today, Marina was giving us a session like on how to use the breakout room, this, that. So same thing we have to think about the kids, that they have so many challenges. They are growing up. This world is rapidly changing. So we have to think about them and we have to support them. We have to encourage them. Encouraging student is very important. So encouragement can help them to keep going, even in the face of uncertainty. So we have to make them feel good. Encouragement means not just to make them feel good, but there's also science to it that when we encourage kids, the area of our brain that helps us with creativity and cognitive thinking light up. So by encouraging, we are not just making them feel good. We are actually improving their cognitive thinking, creativity. So think that way. So, and we all know every class and student is different. They have different pace of learning, and keep encouraging them. If we encourage students who are encouraged, they will show more resilience and willingness to keep trying when faced with challenges. So encourage motivation, even like if we do something, right? If we are if somebody praises us, somebody gives us a little motivation, like and little encouragement, we feel so much motivated to give more. Same thing happens with the kids. When we encourage them, they get motivated to learn more. They try to keep themselves more engaged in the class. So, and I would say like there are various ways we can motivate. Like we have discussed, like giving positive feedback, listen to them, use positive body language. We have to keep the class interesting. We have to even offer incentives, like some do, right? Like giving the stickers, or oh, if you do good with something, we'll have next class will have some story time or something like that. Offer them incentives, encourage them, motivate them. Then they will be really engaging. I'm pretty sure you guys will be following some techniques to encourage kids. Would you like to share with us, like the way you try to encourage kids?
One thing is like never take them for granted. Like many times it happens by mistake that we assume that they know it. But if any 2, 3 children they are unable to do it, so why are they not doing it? Maybe not the proper family background is not there, or the child doesn't know the thing from the beginning, and teachers assume that they know it and they start teaching, and we expect them that to answer and give the proper feedback. But that time we don't get it 100%. So never
Yes.
take them for granted. Like you have cleared in the beginning of the sessions, what are we going to do? Why are we going to do? So in that way, that what we are going to learn today, how are we going to learn today, our objective should be told to the students, so that they will feel that teacher is supportive to us.
No, agree. Like we are not here to teach ourselves, right? We have to teach according to the students to keep them engaged. And we sometimes say, oh, this kid didn't understand what we taught, because we thought we gave our best, we gave the knowledge which we had, but this is really what they want. Is that their level? So we have to take a pause, think about all those things, like because when we are taking classes, we don't really think like, oh, did I do this correct? But if we analyze ourselves, take a break, take a pause, and try to think over it. Was it the correct way I handled this situation? Was it this? I could have encouraged that kid in some other way. So, no, really, I like your ideas, like how we can make it more interesting and engaging.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, let's move on. Oh, so this brings to the end of my presentation, where I'd like to take your feedback and comments, and will thank you for being such a great teacher. It's important to remember that being ourselves as teacher is something that we develop with experience and by slowly reshaping our teachers' values. It's definitely not easy to be perceived as an authentic teacher, but we have to be authentic and trustworthy for our kids. It is about not only demonstrating expertise, right, but also creating strong bonds with the students through small but significant act that we cannot find in books. Teachers, we are not here to teach them through books. We are here to share our knowledge with them. If we go by books and all, then heritage language kids will run away. We don't want that. We want them to be engaged. And remember, like this experience and everything comes through reading and understanding both our students and ourselves. We need to understand ourselves better. So heritage language teachers are not often born, but they can develop with time. Sometimes we might wear a mask to become one heritage language teacher, but with time and practice and experience, we'll not need that mask forever. So thank you all. Thank you for sharing your great ideas. Any feedback, any comments? I open the floor for everyone.
Well, Archana, with
Yeah.
all the things that you have said today, I think we are not just volunteers, but we are committed volunteers because
Yes.
we have passion. Why
Mhm.
are we doing this? We're not receiving, $60 an hour.
Yeah.
Which is the regular pay for a teacher. No,
Yeah.
we
Yes.
are committed. We are committed to what we think is really valuable in order to keep our heritage. So
Yeah.
thank you very much.
No,
Thank you.
you said very well said. We are not here for money because we have that passion for teaching. We are here to make our generations better, right? And to keep building the gap between them. So
Yeah.
no, definitely, like I would say all of us, like we have great passion for teaching. We are trying to nurture the young minds, and it's really truly inspiring. And I'm grateful for all of you for doing that for our society.
Yes, thank you very much.
Mhm. Any other last minute parting topic? Anything? I'll stop sharing.
My last comment. To teach is to touch. To teach is to touch forever a heart of a child.
Very well said. No. Yeah. Again, if we can't reach them, we cannot teach them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to touch their heart. We have to be
And I think that was such an amazing session tonight, and everybody literally had a chance to share their thoughts and their teaching strategies and skills and what they do in the classroom, and that was wonderful. So thank you all, and thank you, Archana, for holding this PD session. I am going to stop the recording.